Hey, what's going on, you all? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about people know exactly what they're doing to you when they do it to you or as they are doing it to you. Never make the mistake in believing that someone is not aware of when they're not providing you what you need. So to provide context to the video, I'm going to play two videos and we're going to go ahead and look at that now.
This shouldn't even be a conversation at this point, but we're going to talk about it. If that person is continuously doing things that they know bothers you or triggers you and they refuse to change their actions, even though you've already spoken on it multiple times, I want you to know that they know exactly what they're doing and you need to treat them as such. People are going to sit around in your life and play with you as long as you allow it. And that's why you got to kick them out. That's why they got to go. You got to revoke access. I'm a person that is very forgiving, but when you continuously forgive people, they almost train themselves habitually to think they can play with you. And unfortunately, we're not playing anymore. We're grown. 2025, we are doing all adult activities. We need emotionally intelligent people. We need people that are caring for us and cherishing us and pouring into us. I don't need somebody constantly around me trying to be a cancer to my life, pull me down and stop me from succeeding. Because a lot of y'all be in the background just doing a lot of malicious things and then y'all don't be taking accountability for it. At least say it with your chest. If you're a hater, let me know you're a hater. Stop being a sneak hater. I don't want you to get proximity on my blessings if you're hating on me. Please come to the front. We're not self-sabotaging ourselves. When you allow people to continuously be in your life, when you know that they are not good for you, you are stopping your blessings. People know exactly what they're doing, and you're being naive to it. Wake up.
So basically, he said, you stopping your blessings when you hold on to people who you know are not good for you.
So I had a friend that every single time we would go inside the store, they would always act like they did not have money. It was always an excuse why they could not pay for their stuff. Like one time they said, well, let me cash app you so, you can get me that bag of chips. And I was like, well, where's your, do you have a cash app card? They said, yeah, I have a cash. I said, well, why could you just use your cash app card? Oh, because we're already in line and I didn't want to put, okay, so that was the first time. Then the second time, it kept happening. And I started feeling like I was confused. It's almost like they put you inside of almost like drug you for a moment.
Yeah, because you can't believe it's happening while it's
Yeah,
happening.
and you just like, is this really? That is exactly what was going on, and they was trying to trick my mind. I strongly believe that when a person tries to trick your mind, it's almost like they're putting a spell on you, almost like they're doing witchcraft on you. And you need to get away from people who do you like that because it's very, very dangerous. Because one day it's going to be the Cash App card. The next thing it's going to be something else. Oh, I took your car. I didn't mean to crash it. But remember when you said that I could take it? And I'm simply like, when did I tell you? See, I even got your keys right here.
It will progress. That's the thing I want you all to know. When they start doing it and you don't say anything, it will never dwindle.
That's right.
It will always progress.
And they know exactly, like the young man said in the video, they are aware of what they are doing. They just trying to make sure that you're not aware of it. But the second you are made aware of it, they're going to stop immediately.
Yeah. So I'm going to also go ahead and roll into the next video.
This is going to be one of those, it's hard to hear, but you need to hear. They know exactly what they're doing. Like, they know what they're putting you through. They know what they're making you feel. They know that they are acting in a certain way that's causing hurt to you. And this is the one that really hurts. They don't care. Because if they cared, they would make changes, they would make effort, there would be conversations to understand at the very least that they know. If they cared, it would be something that you would be very aware of. And I get it, there are people that have certain issues that they're struggling through and they're growing through, but if those conversations are not there, if that's not said, they still know. There's no way that a person puts you through the things that they're putting you through and is not conscious of it. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is that they are going to become comfortable with treating you or offering you what you have become okay with accepting. They realize that they don't have to change because you aren't going to change them. They don't have to do anything different because you've become okay with receiving the thing that you don't deserve. They know. Now the question is, what are you going to do about that? Are you going to continue to allow them to give you those bare minimum breadcrumbs? Or are you going to step away to something you actually deserve?
You just heard what he said in that video. here's something that I want to key in on. A lot of times when you know someone's treating you a certain way, and then you try to put a stop to it, if you notice that person will automatically start coming correct. Once they know that you're aware and you start backing up, you start, calling them less, you start wanting to be around, y'all go ahead, I'm good. Have you ever noticed they come correct? Like if you say, you don't take me to the movies, or, we never, do date night, or we don't go out, and you start withdrawing. If they think you're going to end that friendship or that relationship, all of a sudden they call you and be like, hey, you want to go to the movies?
And
So
I'll pay for it.
that's a clear indication that people are aware of what they're doing. And see, I used to didn't believe that because I used to think they're not aware that I had to realize and get older. People, for the most part, are aware of their toxic traits. Now, I know people don't change overnight, and I get that. But like you said, if someone really cares for you, they will make that effort.
I never forget where I had a friend that told me they was inside of a relationship for 10 years. And they finally called it quits. And the person that they was dating called them and was like, look, I'm sorry. Please take me back. And I told him, I said, well, if they did all that crying and showing up at your job, bringing you flowers, giving you money, I said, well, you wasn't going to give them a second chance? And they said, Trey, no. And I said, why not? And she told me, she said, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And within that 10 years time, he couldn't take a second to act right.
Yeah.
1 second to decide, I'm not going to do my girlfriend like this no more. I'm going to become better. And then it ended. And that was it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play you all another video by, Iyanla. I'm pretty sure you all know who she is, but I'm only gonna play a little bit of this video.
You know what? People know exactly what they're doing until they get exposed. That's a word that came to one of the people on my team, and she gave it to me, and I'm giving it to you. People know exactly what they are doing until they get exposed. And once they get exposed, then they get confused, or they made a mistake, or they don't understand, and they'll then make you wrong. You see, everything is a process. If you are going to the bathroom, you have to have the thought, and then you have to find the bathroom. You have to pull your pants down or open your zipper or do whatever. Everything is a process. There is no way that we can do something, particularly something painful, ugly, harmful, hurtful to ourselves and somebody else, and not know what we're doing. But when somebody calls them on their stuff, then they get confused. And they have an excuse and a rationale. Now, here's two things about that. The first thing is, never judge your clarity on somebody else's response. Know what you know, see what you see, feel what you feel, and call it out. Call it out. Don't worry about people attacking you when you expose what it is that they're doing, because they know.
So, if you all took note, did you hear her when she said until they get exposed? That's funny. And you'll also hear a lot of people say, oh, don't expose them, or I'm going to let it go, or it's water under the bridge, or it's in the past, or I'm not going to make a big deal of it. Whenever you don't call it out, that person continues to do it. That's why we have so many generational curses in families, because we all know what that person is doing. Everybody knows what that person is doing, but no one wants to call it out. And you'll see it affect generations. Like you'll be 4 generations in and see it still. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to leave that alone, because no one wants to call it out. And so she said, it will continue to go until you call it out, meaning that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
So to go spiritual real quick, even the Bible says that in order to cast out a demon, you pretty much have to know his name. and it won't come out unless its name is called. And people's behavior will not change until you call it out. I never forget this time that my son was playing inside the living room, and he knows he's not supposed to bring his toys inside of the living room. So he brought in one toy and he started playing. He snuck it in, and I didn't say anything. I saw him. I didn't say nothing. So he looked at me, and then he went to his room and he got a couple more. And before I knew it, he started adding more toys, and that whole living room floor was covered with nothing but toys. And he did it because I did not say nothing, even though he knew that what he was doing was wrong. When people know that you're not going to say nothing, they're going to keep offending you, and it's going to get bigger and it's going to get worser until you open your mouth and call it out exactly what they are doing. And when I told him, you did it with that one toy, and now you got your whole box of toys in here. I want you to take all these toys up, put them in my room, and now you're on restriction. And immediately he got up, he ran, and he picked up all his toys crying. But it was too late, because I told him, you knew what you was doing was wrong, but because you continue, now you're on punishment.
Yeah, it definitely has to be called out. And we have to stop this misconception that people don't know. Because I thought that way for a very long time until it messed me up. It really, 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 really traumatized me and messed me up, because I was in situations with people, relatives, family members, friends. I was in situations where, and this is the crazy thing, every time they leave your presence, you be like, they just got over on me. Or every time they leave your presence, you be like, I feel exhausted. Or when you know they're coming over, you be like, you know what I mean? So you're aware that it's going on, but there's something inside of us that keeps us from calling it out. Maybe because we don't want to make it a big deal. We don't want to lose a friend. We don't want to start confusion. But if you don't, it's going to keep going. And for me, it went on for years until it just broke. And whether you believe it or not, it's going to break. But here's the good thing in it breaking. Don't go back into it. Yeah, you'll lose people, but don't go back into it.
I never forget when I was a kid, me and my sister was at the sink, and we was putting water inside of a balloon. And the more water we put in that balloon, the balloon just kept swelling up to the thing just popped, and then we had a bigger mess to clean up. And I realized that when people do you wrong, instead of us saying something immediately, we wait till that balloon begins to swell up. And then that balloon that's swelling up with water, that's our anger and our frustration. And then all of a sudden it explodes, and then we unleash on those people. Everybody. And it's a big mess that everybody has to deal with, because
everybody's like, where'd that come from? Because you exploded.
Because you exploded. So when somebody says something to you, because I have a relative that does this all the time, they'll say something real slick up under the and I'll be like, what did you just say? But I love you though, and then walk off. And you have to understand. And we instead of us protecting ourselves, we protect the people who hurt us. And I don't know why we do it.
We do,
because we don't want to hurt their feelings, and we be like, I'm just gonna let that go, because I know if I say something to her, they're not gonna come around no more. But then every single time they keep coming around, they keep hurting you.
Do the same thing.
So you have to learn how to protect yourself and just do it real sweetly. You ain't gotta yell, explode, go crazy, because remember, we're adults. Just say, hey, you've been doing this for a long time. Today, if you don't stop, I won't be around you no more.
Cut the ties. And you don't have to stop loving somebody, but you can stop being around them. You ever hear the expression feeding someone with a long handled spoon?
They still eating.
Yeah, but you don't have to break bread with them.
Yeah, like she said, you don't have to stop loving them, because when you're family, you don't ever stop loving your family. But you do have to set boundaries, because it's time for us to get it. Like she said, you have to tell them. And it's time for a lot of people, friends, family, co-workers, even your neighbor. They know that's your trash can that they keep taking. It's yours. And you be like, isn't that my trash? I called the city, they brought me my own trash can, that's mine. It's yours because your name is on it, your number is on it. Let them know what they're doing.
And here's the thing about letting them know what they're doing. We just briefly touched on it. Let them know what they're doing right away, so you don't have a lot of anger and resentment built up, so you can tell them sweetly. Because once you let that anger and resentment build up, then you're brutal. You're very brutal, and that brutality comes out in your words, because then you start name calling. you start cursing, you start doing all this stuff. So let them know when they're doing it, so there's no bitterness and contentment behind your words. So that's all we wanted to come and say. Any final words?
Expose them. No more letting them get away with it. Expose them.
See you all in the next video.